Your card has been declined. I stood there, arms crossed, eyes locked on the transaction history glowing on my screen. $199,237.88. Her name was on it. Her signature. First-class tickets to Paris, a 5-star suite at the Ritz, luxury boutiques, private drivers, all charged to my platinum card. All for a trip she said was a Women in Tech Executive Summit. Only there was no summit. And she sure as hell wasn't traveling solo. 6 minutes after I hit freeze account, my phone buzzed. A forwarded email from my bank. Subject line: urgent, payment declined, card ending in 9912. I didn't even have to open it to imagine her face mid-flight, somewhere over the Atlantic. I could almost see her flipping through the onboard wine list with her nails clinking against the glass, that smug smirk on her face as she leaned over to whisper to him, whoever the hell he was, before the flight attendant returned, this time not with wine, but with news. "Excuse me, ma'am, your card has been declined." Boom. That's the moment it all crashed. That's when the lies, the games, the rehearsed little sighs, and "I'm just tired, babe," unraveled. My name is Jason Walker. Her name is Madison. And this is the beginning of the end. Let me back you up. Just a week before that plane ever took off, things already smelled off. She was glued to her phone more than usual. Late nights, working. Closed doors during Zoom calls. New lingerie she claimed was for self-confidence. Right. I caught the first real crack during dinner. "You don't need to pick me up from the airport," she said casually, twirling her pasta. "The company's sending a car." "Since when do they pay for that?" I asked. She shrugged. "It's a new perk for VPs. They're trying to keep us happy." VP. Funny, she was a project manager just 2 months ago. Still, I smiled. I nodded. I acted like a clueless husband because I needed more. More than a hunch. More than her fake smiles and overly detailed lies. That's when I hired a private investigator. His name was Ethan. 48 hours later, he dropped a folder on my desk. Inside, a full itinerary with screenshots, hotel reservations, and a photo. Madison, in oversized sunglasses, boarding a limo at LAX with a man, tall, expensive haircut, hand casually resting on her lower back like he owned it. Not a coworker. Not even close. I stared at the photo, and my chest didn't explode with rage. It just iced over. You know that feeling? Not heartbreak. Not anger. Just cold. Like something in you clicks and you realize you're done playing dumb. That was when the plan started. I waited until the morning of the flight. Let her kiss my cheek. Let her lie one more time. "Text you when I land, babe." Then I waited. Tracked the plane. Waited until the perfect moment, somewhere over Newfoundland. Freeze account. I wanted to see what panic looked like on her face when the fairy tale ended 30,000 feet in the air. I wanted him, whoever the smug bastard was, to know this wasn't some husband she could outplay. And I wanted the first punch to hit before she landed. 6 minutes. That's all it took. Her flight still had 4 hours to go. And I already knew, by the time she touched down in Paris, I'd be gone. Out of the house. Out of her reach. And very much ready for war. When I opened the drawer in her vanity, I wasn't looking for anything specific. I already knew what she did. I'd already seen the man, seen their bookings, seen her name on every receipt. But still curiosity dragged me toward the mess she left behind. And there it was. Tucked between a makeup palette and a folded airline brochure, I found an envelope. Thick. Heavier than paper. I tore it open and felt my stomach twist. Necklaces. Not mine. Not anything I'd ever seen before. And a handwritten card. To Mads, can't wait for Paris. You deserve the world, and I'm gonna give it to you. D. I laughed. Loud. The sound echoed through the empty bedroom like a joke I wasn't in on. She really thought I'd never find it. Or maybe she thought I'd never dare look. I should have burned it. Instead, I placed it gently on the bed. Next to the printed bank statement. Next to the photo Ethan gave me. Next to the key fob from the hotel in Beverly Hills dated last weekend. The one she claimed she spent visiting her mom. She was 2 hours from landing when I loaded everything into a single email. Subject: Welcome to Paris. No body. No text. Just attachments. I clicked send and imagined her opening it in the airport. Still in her designer coat. Still thinking she got away with it. Then came the phone calls. First one, ignored. Second, ignored. Third, voicemail. Her voice trembled. "Jason, I don't know what's going on, but something's wrong with the account. Please call me back, okay? Please." Fourth, she was crying. I'm at the airport. They won't let me through. I can't even get a cab. What did you do? Jason, please. This isn't funny. But I wasn't laughing. I wasn't even listening. I was packing. The house was already half empty. My boxes were stacked by the door. The spare room? Locked. My safe? Gone. The documents? Transferred. My name removed from every joint account. She took a vacation with him. I took our whole life while she was gone. By the time the fifth call came, I'd already changed my number. She was in Paris, alone, broke, with a man who wasn't going to pick up the tab. And I was in a cab, heading to a lawyer's office with a folder labeled dissolution. This wasn't rage. This was clarity. And it tasted better than revenge. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to confront her at baggage claim. She'd learn what real consequences felt like. She'd find the house empty. Her car sold. My name erased like she'd never known me. She thought she played me. But she played herself. Because I wasn't the man she married anymore. I was the man who just turned her fairy tale into a cautionary tale. And I was just getting started. I stayed in a small Airbnb 2 towns over, just far enough from the chaos but close enough to feel the fallout. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I missed her, that part of me was already dead, but because the silence was louder than her betrayal. The kind of silence that wraps around your throat and makes you question everything you ever believed about love, loyalty, and the lies people are willing to tell with a straight face. The next morning, I woke up to 27 missed calls. 10 from Madison. 11 from her mom. The rest? Unknown numbers. Probably him. Probably D. The man who thought he could just slide into another man's life, take what wasn't his, and never face the consequences. I turned off the phone. Permanently. But I didn't block her email. I wanted to see what she'd say when words were all she had left. At 8:14 a.m., her message came. Long, desperate. Full of holes. Jason, I need you to understand that this isn't what it looks like. You're blowing everything out of proportion. I was just confused, okay? It wasn't serious. It was a mistake. I thought you didn't love me anymore, and I made a bad choice. Bad choice? That bad choice tried on suits charged to my card. Drank champagne in the lounge on my points. Slept next to my wife in my hotel reservation while I was home reorganizing our damn storage room and wondering which side of the bed made her sleep better. She continued. Please come get me. I can't stay here. He left. He freaked out when he couldn't pay for anything and said this was all my fault. Jason, please. I need you. Need me? Funny. She didn't need me when she planned that trip. Didn't need me when she changed her password. Didn't need me when she moaned for a man who wasn't her husband on a bed I didn't sleep in. So now she was stranded. Good. Let the city of lights teach her something about darkness. I forwarded the email to my lawyer. Then I made myself coffee. Sat outside. Let the cold air cut through the remains of whatever emotion I had left. No anger. No grief. Just stillness. She didn't deserve rage. She deserved silence. But I wasn't done yet. Later that afternoon, I had the locks changed at the house. Security system reset. Access revoked. Her name scrubbed from every utility, insurance, and joint document. She was a ghost now. And I'd become the man who buried her without ever lifting a finger. By the time she landed back in the States, she'd have nowhere to go, no money to access, and no name left to manipulate. I wasn't going to shout. I wasn't going to explain. I was going to disappear from her life with the same precision she used to erase me from her loyalty. The only difference? She was sloppy. I was surgical. And I hadn't even told her what I found on her laptop yet. It was the night before she returned from Paris when I finally opened the backup drive from her MacBook. I hadn't meant to go through her files at first. I thought I had enough. Enough proof. Enough betrayal. Enough of her. But curiosity has a funny way of whispering when you think you're done listening. Inside a hidden folder labeled Temp Projects, I found dozens of zipped files. Most were dull, slideshows, PDFs, work stuff. But one folder caught my eye, M_Dreams. It wasn't locked. She wasn't careful. She thought I'd never look. Videos. Screenshots. Voice memos. In one video, she sat on a bed, the same one from the Beverly Hills hotel I recognized from the receipts, wearing a silk robe I bought her for our anniversary. Her phone was propped against a lamp, and she smiled like she was auditioning for a new life. I don't want to go back, she whispered to the camera. Jason's boring. Safe. Predictable. D is chaos. But he sees me. Another clip. Same setting. Different tone. She was laughing with someone off camera. He thinks I'm on a Zoom call, she said. I told him it's a leadership webinar. Meanwhile, I'm over here getting, she paused and giggled. Well, let's just say, mintered in other ways. That's when the video cut. And that's when I stopped breathing. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the smugness, the delight in deception. The fact that she didn't just lie to me, she enjoyed it. Like it gave her power. I sat there, the cold glow of the screen painting the room in static light, feeling something new in my chest. Not pain. Not grief. Strategy. I uploaded every file to a flash drive, encrypted and timestamped, and made 3 copies. One for my lawyer, one in a safety deposit box, and one, just in case I ever needed to remind myself why I walked away. The next morning, I went back to the house one last time. Not to see her. Not to talk. Just to watch. My car was parked 2 blocks down. I waited across the street behind the tinted windows. At exactly 11:26 a.m., the Uber pulled into the driveway. She stepped out wearing the same coat she left in. Her hair was tangled, makeup smudged, a look on her face I didn't recognize, not sadness, not regret. Fear. She walked up to the front door, tried the handle. Locked. She rang the bell. No answer. Then she pulled out her phone. Called. Disconnected. I watched her crumble in real time. Watched her knock, then bang, then scream. She was shouting something, but I couldn't hear her. Didn't need to. She wasn't yelling for me. She was yelling for control. She didn't lose a husband. She lost her game. I started the car and drove off. I didn't look back. She made her choice. Now she could live with it. A few hours later, I was sitting in my lawyer's office, sipping cold water while he scrolled through the files. He didn't say much, just kept nodding, occasionally grunting, the kind of sound lawyers make when they realize the case just built itself. He looked up eventually and said, "Jason, this isn't just grounds for divorce. This is war with their support." I nodded. I didn't come here to cry or vent. I came for scorched earth. We filed immediately. Irreconcilable differences, infidelity, financial fraud. I had documentation for everything. He was impressed, said most people in my position usually show up with text messages and broken hearts. I showed up with receipts and revenge. By the next morning, the documents were served. She was at a friend's apartment, apparently the only place she hadn't burned a bridge. According to Ethan, who I kept on retainer now, she opened the door in a hoodie and slippers, looking like someone had ripped her spine out. Good. She had no job anymore. I'd quietly contacted her company with evidence of misused travel funds and deception about the business trip. They placed her on indefinite leave. And her fancy boyfriend, D, disappeared the second the money did. She emailed me again. This time shorter. Cold. "You think you're punishing me, Jason? You're just proving how small you are. You always were." No apology. No remorse. Just venom. I didn't reply. But I did forward that email to my lawyer too. The court date was set. I wasn't even nervous. The thing about walking through fire is you come out already burned. Nothing else hurts after that. The day before the hearing, she showed up at my gym. I saw her through the glass as I was racking plates, hair done, makeup perfect, fake smile in full effect. I didn't break stride. Just turned my back. She followed me to the parking lot. "Jason, just talk to me. We can fix this. This doesn't have to be war." I laughed. It wasn't loud, more like that low, dark kind of laugh you make when you finally see the full picture and realize how deep the knife really went. "You spent almost 200 grand screwing another man in hotels I paid for," I said, "and now you want peace?" Her lips trembled. But she didn't cry. No, Madison didn't cry, she negotiated. Twisted. Performed. "You weren't there for me emotionally," she snapped. "You weren't present. You checked out long before I ever did." "No," I said, voice sharp now. "I was committed. That's what you call boring now, right? Loyalty? Routine? I was the foundation you decided to crack because you wanted fireworks." I opened my car door. "Well, now you've got explosions. Enjoy the fallout." I got in, closed the door, and left her in the rearview mirror. This time, I didn't look back either. Court was quick. Cleaner than I expected. She tried to play victim at first, tears, trembling voice, the whole pathetic script. Claimed I'd emotionally neglected her. That I left her no choice. The judge barely blinked. My lawyer laid out the charges, the timeline, the proof. Hotel receipts, bank transactions, the Paris trip, even the private messages where she joked about me to D, like I was some clueless loser she was milking. The judge's face changed then. That subtle shift. Disgust. He asked her one question. Did you spend $199,000 of his money on a vacation with another man? She hesitated, just long enough to hang herself. Then, yes, that was it. Game over. She left the courtroom looking like she'd been hit by a truck. I walked out lighter. Not happy, not healed, but clean. She lost the house. She lost the car. She lost the financial settlement she thought was hers by default. The prenup she insisted we never needed? I had it updated quietly the year before, notarized, signed during a dinner she barely remembered. She laughed at night when she signed it. Babe, why so dramatic? You act like we're ever getting divorced. Right. I got back home and sat on the back porch with a beer. For the first time in months, the silence didn't feel heavy. It felt earned. No more tracking flights. No more fake kisses. No more wondering who she was texting when she turned her phone face down. I wasn't healing yet, but I'd stopped bleeding. Weeks passed. She tried to reach out. New email. Blocked. Showed up at my office once. Security escorted her out. Ethan said she moved in with a cousin in Ohio. Apparently, D ghosted her completely. Didn't even help her get back from Paris. She pawned the gifts he gave her. Applied for jobs. Got rejected. She went from champagne to tap water in a matter of weeks. And me? I slept. I ate. I rebuilt. Not just my finances, my sanity. I started lifting again. Went back to my old hobbies. Bought a bike. The quiet stopped feeling like an empty space and started feeling like peace. That's the thing they never tell you. Betrayal doesn't just end a relationship. It ends your version of yourself. But what you build after that, that version doesn't tolerate lies. Doesn't settle. Doesn't flinch. I became that version. And I'll never go back. It was a rainy Thursday evening when I got the last piece of closure I didn't even know I needed. I was cleaning out the garage, tossing old boxes from our someday pile, the ones labeled wedding keepsakes, vacation photos, baby plans. Yeah, we had those. Even bought a crib once. Never opened it. I found one of her old journals in the bottom of a dusty tote. I paused. Thought about tossing it straight into the trash. But something in me, not bitterness, not pain, just curiosity, wanted to know who she really was, in her own words. The entries were sporadic. Dramatic. A lot of "he doesn't see me," and "I deserve more." One entry hit harder than the rest. "He loves me like a house. Safe, still, and boring. I want a wildfire, not a picket fence." I closed the book and smiled. Because in that one line, she told the truth. She wasn't cheated out of love. She just couldn't recognize it. I was never her fire. I was her foundation. And she burned it for smoke and mirrors. It wasn't a sad smile. It was a free one. Now, months later, my life looks nothing like it did. I moved. Took a job in a city where no one knows her name. Bought a loft with a rooftop view and no ghosts in the walls. I don't hate her anymore. Because you don't hate a storm for tearing your roof off. You just build something better, stronger, after it passes. Sometimes people ask me if I'd ever get married again. I tell them this. I haven't given up on love. I've just given up on illusions. Trust is earned, not assumed. Loyalty is proven, not promised. And peace is better than passion that cuts you open. To the men reading this, yeah, you, the one ignoring red flags because you love her too much, don't be the last one to find out. Don't let guilt chain you to someone who would set you on fire just to stay warm. Watch how she talks about you when she thinks you're not listening. Watch what she laughs at when your back is turned. Watch who she becomes when money, power, or attention are on the table. Because love isn't what she says when she's caught. It's what she does when no one's watching. I learned that the hard way. But I learned. And I walked away with everything she lost. My self-respect, my sanity, and my soul intact. The best revenge? Living so far above her level that she can't even see me anymore. And believe me, she's still looking.